what's a fan? Somebody who likes something, right? So you would typically think that someone who calls himself a Star Wars fan would be a fan of Star Wars. And for the most part, that is to be true. But it seems like the typical criteria for a Star Wars fan is A, you have to hate Star Wars, and B, you have to really hate a lot about Star Wars. Star Wars fans are easily the group of fans that hates the thing that they say they love the most, bar none. Which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. The thing is, your typical Star Wars fan, they are all the same. They hate George Lucas, they hate the special editions, they hate the prequels, their favorite movie is Empire Strikes Back, and their favorite character is Boba Fett. Why? I don't know why they're all the same, but they're all a bunch of idiots. Granted, I may not have been a child when the movies first came out, but I had the exact same experience as everybody else out there. I watched the movies on VHS growing up, the original trilogy, no edits whatsoever. Then 1999 rolls around, special editions come out, I'm psyched, I'm standing in line opening day for every single one of them, and then I see the prequels, and now we're gonna all be seeing The Force Awakens. So my timeline is exactly like everyone else's in that the order of which I watched these things and how they impacted me growing up. However, my experience with the Star Wars franchise isn't typical of most Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans have such a passionate hatred for George Lucas, the creator of the thing that they say that they love, yet they just continually bash on him because of the special editions and the prequels. Really, these movies that came out when you were 20, 30, 40 years old didn't live up to the really impressionable 9-year-old version of you that saw those movies in the theaters when they first came out. Really? They didn't have the same impact? They weren't as fantastical to you? That's amazing! The fact of the matter is, these Star Wars movies are made for kids. They are. That's why you loved it when you were freaking 9 years old. And that's why 9-year-olds loved the prequels. They're kids' movies. Now, looking back, you can see that the prequels are far from perfect, and the special editions had some changes that weren't exactly beneficial to the movie-going experience, but we have to give merit where merit is due. The special editions actually did make some improvements to the actual film. They enhanced a lot of the special effects. The land speeder with that orange blur, the Death Star explosion, way better. The Emperor from Empire Strikes Back isn't the makeup artist's wife with chimpanzee eyes anymore, and it's actually the Emperor now. Instead of English on everything, it's Orabesh, which helps with the entire world building of the Star Wars universe. And say what you will about dated CGI, but some of that practical effects that you guys love so much weren't as good as some of the CGI effects. Granted, not all of them, but sometimes CGI is the way to go. Take a look at the prequels when they tried that puppet Yoda that everyone thought looked really freaky, and then they changed him out for a CGI Yoda. Yeah, that was kinda necessary. And the prequels that everyone loves to hate so much have arguably a way better story than the original trilogy. What's the storyline of the Orig Tridge? An archetypal hero's journey where a group of rebel people overthrow an oppressive government. Wow, that's never been done before. What's the storyline in the prequels? You have this crazy evil senator who's an undercover Sith who generates all of these events to happen, freaking using everyone as a piece in his chess set to give himself all the power, get this clone army to take out this threat that he can then use to destroy the Jedi that he's trying to destroy because he's a Sith in disguise. That's like a way better plot. And then you have the kid who's supposed to be the chosen one actually turn evil in the end. If the episodes 1 through 3 came out before 4 through 6, no way would you have seen that coming, and you guys would have liked it. If those 3 came out first, you would have liked it. Because 4 through 6 came out first, and they still have a lot of stupid shit in those movies, but everyone loves to gloss over that because they throw all of their hatred and discomfort towards George Lucas and the special editions and the prequels, overblowing all of the dumb shit that happened in the original trilogy. Like, why does everyone love Boba Fett so much? That guy doesn't do jack shit in the 3 movies of the original trilogy. Why does everyone like him? Because he looked cool. He had cool armor and a cool helmet, and everyone loved his toy when they were 9 years old. What does he do in the films? He has Vader catch Han Solo for him, and then he shoots into the sky in Return of the Jedi, gets hit in the jetpack by a blind Han Solo, and then gets killed by a space anus. is. Boba Fett does nothing in the entire trilogy to warrant any of the love that people have for him. He doesn't do anything badass. He doesn't do anything skillfully. He doesn't do anything. Boba Fett sucks, and Jango Fett showed his ass up in Attack of the Clones. At least that was a guy who could fight. And if you're one of those people that brother's like, no, he charged his jetpack and then was saved by his fellow bounty hunters. No, he didn't. The extended universe. Fuck the extended universe. It's glorified fan fiction is all it is. That shit's not canon. That's just everyone's idea of what they think actually happened. But that has nothing to do with the actual movies that these people say that they love so much. Now, I'm not saying like the extended universe was like shitty writing or anything or had no good ideas. The whole Mara Jade thing, the whole Han and Leia's twin kids thing, the fact that Chewie had a life debt to Han and that's why he follows him. Good ideas, but that's just fan fiction, people. That's all it is. And when Star Wars The Force Awakens comes out, all the Star Wars fans are going to be up in arms because it's not the playwright that they had when they were 10 years old and like, oh man, this would be great if this followed after, Return of the Jedi. It's not going to be that, so they're going to hate it. All these Star Wars fans want the Star Wars series to cater to them and their specific vision that they've had in their head since they were kids. And of course that's not going to happen. Other fans made this movie. J.J. Abrams, he's a fan. He's a Star Wars fan. Grew up a Star Wars fan, so like everyone else working on this movie and the continual movies after The Force Awakens. But it's not going to be your vision because you didn't make the damn movie yet. Somehow you're still going to be upset when that happens, aren't you? Sure, Jar Jar was terrible and Hayden Christensen wasn't a great Anakin and the chemistry between him and Padme were fantastic. But that's not to throw out all the good things that the prequels did. Their fight scenes were like tons better. The aerial dogfight scenes, the lightsaber fight scenes were just miles ahead of the original trilogy. Duel of the Fates, one of the greatest soundtracks in movie history. Darth Maul, everyone agrees is cool, yet he dies. People love to shit on midichlorians, but that's a much better explanation for everything else that happens within that universe. So why you gotta shit on midichlorians? Sure, it's dumb that it conceived Anakin, but it makes more sense. Otherwise, anyone could become a Jedi. Oh no, that crushed my dreams. I thought if I could just believe I could be a Jedi too, but now I need this special shit in my DNA. Who cares? It's fiction! It's fiction, people! Nothing that the prequels do tarnish anything that happens in the original trilogy, whether you hate the special editions or not. But you have to recognize that there's some stupid things that happen in the original trilogy, and there's some good things that happen in the prequel. Sure, if you look back in retrospect, even if you were a kid when, the prequels came out, they aren't fantastic, but if you're looking at the original trilogy through those road-colored lenses that you love to look through so often, then you will be able to see, yeah, the original trilogy had some pretty stupid things too. The fact that Boba Fett sucks at doing everything. The fact that Vader is able to, deflect lasers from his hands. When has that ever been a thing? The fact that they have a trash compactor filled with water and a monster inside of the Death Star that they just built? And then everyone loved to shit on the Ewoks, even though they're part of the original trilogy, but the Ewoks were just cutesy little annoying characters there to sell toys. The entire series is there to sell toys, people. And why crap on the Ewoks, the most underrated characters in the entire saga of Star Wars? They won that battle for the rebels. In fact, when that Ewok gets killed is the only time in the entire original trilogy where you see a character alive, then dying, then die, then stay dead. The only one in the entire series. So don't shit on the Ewoks and say that the only reason we know their name is because they were plastered on toys everywhere. No, the word Ewok is in the ending credits of Return of the Jedi, so stick that in your little pipe and smoke it. These self-loathing Star Wars fans hating on George Lucas and the special editions and the prequels just go to show that obviously you were a kid when the first movies came out, and now you're not a kid anymore and you don't like the newer kids' movies. Hey, how about that shit? I bet if you watched the newest Sesame Street or Barney or Power Rangers, you wouldn't be as excited as if when you saw them when you were a kid, because that's how growing up works. Star Wars has a lot to offer, but they've always had cute and or annoying characters. You might look at a character and say, oh, that's just there to sell toys. They've all just been there to sell toys. They started the whole selling toys business. And Star Wars is a good franchise. If you haven't seen, the original Star Wars movies, especially the first one, then that's really weird. Not seeing Star Wars is not having seen Star Wars, because there's nothing else to compare it to. So don't shit on a movie because it's not the same one that you had in your head when you were 9. And there's going to be no need to crap on The Force Awakens when it comes out, because it's probably going to be pretty good and at least better than the prequels. Even I can admit that. But I mean, there's still going to be plenty of people that are going to shit on it because it's not the fan fiction that they wrote with themselves that Boba Fett and Han Solo are making out with each other because for some reason those are the only two characters that those people like. So yeah, this has been my rant about the Star Wars and their so-called fans. Obviously not all of them are like that. There are plenty of young kids and older people who can appreciate all the Star Wars things and still recognize that there's some still silly or dumb things within the entirety of the Star Wars universe. But come on. Get over yourselves, they're kids' movies, and you're not a kid anymore. That's how it works.